Henry Ford stands as one of America's most transformative industrialists, fundamentally reshaping both manufacturing and society through his revolutionary approach to automobile production. Born into a farming family, Ford would ultimately put America on wheels and establish the foundation for modern mass production techniques that extended far beyond the automotive industry. Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863, in Wayne County, Michigan, in an area that would later become Dearborn. He was the eldest of 8 children, born to William and Mary Ford, with his father being an Irish immigrant who had arrived in America during the 1847 potato famine. Ford's childhood was marked by tragedy when his mother Mary died before he reached age 13. Despite being raised on a farm, Ford showed little interest in agricultural life, instead displaying a passion for machinery and mechanics that would define his future career. By age 12, he had equipped himself with a small machine shop, and at 15, he constructed his first steam engine. At age 16, Ford made a pivotal decision to leave his father's farm and walk to Detroit to find work in the city's machine shops. This 3-year period exposed him to the internal combustion engine for the first time, providing crucial technical knowledge that would later prove invaluable. After 3 years, he returned to the farm, where he worked part-time for the Westinghouse Engine Company and in spare moments tinkered in a little machine shop he set up. Eventually, he built a small farm locomotive, a tractor that used an old mowing machine for its chassis and a homemade steam engine for power. Ford moved back to Detroit 9 years later as a married man. His wife, Clara Bryant, had grown up on a farm not far from Ford's. They were married in April 1888, beginning what would become a lifelong partnership in both personal and professional endeavors. Ford's career took a significant turn when he joined the Edison Illuminating Company of Detroit in 1891. On November 6, 1893, Clara gave birth to their only child, Edsel Bryant. A month later, Ford was made chief engineer at the main Detroit Edison Company plant, with responsibility for maintaining electric service in the city 24 hours a day. The new position allowed him flexible hours to experiment with his automotive ideas. Ford's automotive journey began in earnest during the winter of 1893, when he constructed his first gasoline engine on a wooden table in his kitchen. This led to the creation of his first horseless carriage, the Quadricycle, completed in June 1896, featuring a 4-horsepower engine mounted on a buggy frame with 4 bicycle wheels. Unlike other automotive pioneers who held on to their creations, Ford sold his early vehicles to finance subsequent innovations. After founding and dissolving the Detroit Automobile Company in 1899, Ford established the Ford Motor Company in 1903. During its first 5 years, the Ford Motor Company produced 8 different models, and by 1908, its output was 100 cars a day. The stockholders were ecstatic. Ford was dissatisfied and looked toward turning out 1,000 a day. The stockholders seriously considered court action to stop him from using profits to expand. Ford's most revolutionary achievement came with the introduction of the Model T in 1908. Conceived as affordable transportation For ordinary Americans, the Model T revolutionized personal mobility. Ford designed this vehicle to be practical, simple to operate, and durable, making it one of the first mass-production automobiles. Ford believed that automobiles might eventually become accessible to the general public if only they were produced in a more efficient, cost-effective manner. The introduction of the Model T in 1908 marked Ford's greatest triumph. In 1909, Ford, who owned 58% of the stock, announced that he was only going to make one car in the future, the Model T. The Model T was manufactured at Ford's Highland Park plant, designed by renowned architect Albert Kahn, and nicknamed the Crystal Palace for its extensive glass windows. The most significant innovation occurred in October 1913, when Ford implemented the moving assembly line at Highland Park. This groundbreaking approach to manufacturing applied principles of interchangeable parts, continuous flow, division of labor, and elimination of wasted motion. The results were extraordinary. Chassis assembly time was reduced from 12.5 man-hours to just 93 man-minutes by 1914. By breaking down the process into specialized, repeatable tasks, Ford's assembly line reduced production times dramatically, lowering the Model T's price from $850 in 1908 to less than $300 in 1925, and making automobiles affordable for average American families. This innovation made automobile ownership accessible to millions and established principles of mass production that would change industries worldwide. Ford's influence extended far beyond automotive manufacturing and technological advancement. His model of mass production ushered in a new era of consumer culture that transformed how individuals perceive mobility and progress in the 20th century. The automobile became more than just a mode of transport. It became a symbol of personal freedom that linked distant places and redefined the American landscape. Ford's impact extended beyond manufacturing when he instituted the revolutionary $5 a day wage in 1914, nearly doubling typical industrial wages and helping create a middle class capable of purchasing the products they manufactured. Highland Park's employment peaked at almost 70,000 workers by 1925. The success of Ford Motor Company also had significant social implications. By offering decent wages and improving working conditions relatively for his time, Ford instigated discussions on labor rights and economic welfare in an era where such considerations were often overlooked. Ford's assembly line methods revolutionized factory production across industries, contributing significantly to America's Industrial Revolution. His innovations transformed the United States from a predominantly agricultural society to an industrial powerhouse, with urban populations experiencing significant growth. By 1900, the nation was approximately 40% urban, reaching 56% by 1940. Beyond manufacturing, Ford established Henry Ford Hospital in 1915, demonstrating his commitment to community philanthropy. Despite his monumental success in industrializing American production, his career was not without controversy. His outspoken views, which sometimes ventured into problematic areas, remind us that historical figures are multifaceted. While his innovations undeniably contributed to the dynamics of modern industry, they also carry lessons on the intersection of business leadership and personal ideology. Henry Ford died on April 7, 1947, leaving behind a legacy that fundamentally altered American life and established the blueprint for modern manufacturing. His journey, from a curious young man with a passion for engines to a visionary leader of industry, continues to inspire those who dare to challenge the status quo and dream of a future defined by innovation. Ford's story demonstrates that transformative ideas can stem from simple beginnings and ultimately change the face of society forever.